Good morning. I just want to start off by saying that I want to send my deepest empathy, my deepest respect and regard to the mother and the family of Tyre Nichols. I just want to say that no matter what narrative we all see going out in the media or just any video that we see, that no matter what, it was a wrongful act that was done and he should have never endured that. I personally can't get myself to watch the full video. I've heard little snippets and things like that, but again, I'm just too emotional to watch the whole video. And not only is there different narratives going around in terms of his actual death and what actually took place, but we see that Whitlock did a video and he's getting accused of blaming single black mothers. So I just wanted to touch base into that. Again, I said my deepest empathy and respect in regard to his mother and his family, because no matter what, bottom line, it should have never happened to him. And that's just a horrible situation. He did not deserve that. So as I share this video, I will share a clip of Jason Whitlock himself in terms of what he said about Tyre Nichols' situation. I wanted everyone to see what he said. And then as I'm done with that, I will then follow along with my opinion in terms of what Whitlock stated. And I'll just have a few different clips so I can just point everything out in terms of the matter that's at hand. So right now there's a narrative saying that single black mothers are being blamed for what happened to Tyre Nichols rather than the 5 black cops that actually did it themselves. So I'm going to share this video with Jason Whitlock in terms of what he said. And then again, I'll go over my opinion on the matter. Actually, before I share the Jason Whitlock video, I'm actually going to share my video, the video that I posted last week, where it was Destiny versus the Angry Man, where I titled it The Blame Game, where single black mothers are being blamed. So I'll share what I said first, and then I'll share the Jason Whitlock video, and then I'll go over everything after that. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So while I'm out and about, very quickly, I just wanted to make a shout out to Destiny. Thank you, Destiny, for defending us as melanated women. You know, in that episode where it's you versus Angry Man, and Angry Man is just sitting there as another typical black man who likes to blame black women for everything, right? And then it's funny. These are the same black men that they follow the manosphere. They follow Andrew Tate. They follow Kevin Samuel. They follow all of that rhetoric and everything like that, talking about a man is supposed to be dominant and a woman is supposed to be submissive. All in the retrospect that a man is supposed to be a leader and a woman is supposed to follow. So in the black community, and I'm not talking about the individual good black men, I'm talking about in the black community as a collective, what are black men leading for black women and black children? What are black men leading for us to follow them? Answer that. You know, to my fellow melanated woman, isn't it a breath of fresh air? Like, it's like we have white men, we have Latino men, like they're like actually seeing all this shit that we have been going through throughout the years, how we've been disrespected and neglected by these black men and shit like that. And we actually have other men from the outside seeing this shit. Call me crazy, call me what you want. Everybody sees this. I'm just going to keep posting videos on this, right? And not only am I going to post videos about how I see it, I'm going to post the Filipino woman, the white woman, the Spanish woman. I'm going to post all these videos of how they're exposing black men because it has to be brought to a head, all right? And not only that, I'm going to have other black men on board exposing this shit too, all right? And this shit is hilarious because black women have been the least protected here in America and nobody wants to acknowledge that shit, all right? Don't sit there and follow the manosphere. Y'all black dudes don't got Andrew Tate money, all right? So don't like, who the hell are you guys talking about? Women are supposed to follow you guys. You guys are not leading shit, and you're leaving your children behind. Okay, I'm gonna expose all of this shit.
Want us devote an hour of coverage to this and weekend coverage of this, and they want to take us to a good place. I would examine the racial element of this because there is a racial element, and this is a story about young black men and their inability to treat each other in a humane way. Everybody involved in this on the street level was either 24 to 32 years old. Everybody. It was a group of young black men, 5-on-1. Looked like gang violence to me. It looked like what young black men do when they're supervised by a single black woman. And that's what they got going on in the Memphis Police Department. They've elected some or put some black woman in charge of the police force. And we're getting the same kind of chaos and disunity and violence that we see in a lot of these cities that are run by single mothers. If we want to discuss the breakdown of family that leads to disrespect for authority that causes you to resist the police and run from the police and not comply with the police because you resist authority at all time, because there was no male authority in your home, let's have that discussion. But that's not where they want to take us. They want to take us down the path of saying, you know what, this is Tucker Carlson's fault. This is some random this is Donald Trump's fault. It's not. It's the breakdown of family and the buying in to all these left-wing things that have nothing to do with promoting family.
You've been on the show so many times, and every single time you say something I never would have thought of, including what you just said, and I appreciate it. Jason Whitlock.
So you see what I said in my video. I said what I said. I said it very boldly. I said it very unapologetically. I said what I said, all right? You know, there's a number of black men, ever since I posted that video last Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever, ever since I've said that, I have a number of black men that have blocked me or upset with me or they shared their views with me. Now, listen, I'm very empathetic, okay? Because I always point out in my videos that when I talk about black men, I'm not talking about all black men, right? You know, it's sad that I have to keep repeating myself on this. And, you know, it's not just me. A number of black women, we always point that out in our videos, you know. We're not like those guys in the manosphere that when they say a statement, they make a bold statement. The thickest brush to paint over all women. That's what the manosphere does, right? But someone such as myself and other black women, you know, we're very empathetic to black men because we do acknowledge the fact that there are good black men out there, right? But that's just not what we're talking about in these videos and stuff right now. That's just not the topic, or that's not the matter of discussion at this point in time. And I make that very clear, you know, and like I said what I said unapologetically, right? So here's the thing. We see what Jason Whitlock said in that video, right? And you see what I said in my video, right? Now, you're going to be surprised with my view on Jason Whitlock in terms of what he said. Crazy but true. I actually do not think that Jason Whitlock is blaming black mothers, but rather I think that he's just speaking on the dynamic of the breakdown of the family factually for what it is. I don't think Jason Whitlock is blaming black mothers because it seems like everybody's emphasizing the part where he talks about what happened between the 5 black cops and Tyre Nichols. It seems like a situation where basically these men were just reckless with what they were doing, and it looks like these are men that were raised by single black mothers, right? And then, but nobody emphasized the part a little later on in the video of what I showed you, where he talks about a lot of these men lack authority and they lack the concept of listening because these very men lacked authority, male authority in their household. So it seems like people are not paying attention to that part, because if you get technical, just like black mothers or black women are getting offended, if you get technical, black men and black fathers could get offended too, because he's saying that it looks like these men did this act as a result of being young boys who were raised without having black fathers, right? That's really what he's saying in the video. So again, I don't think he's blaming single black mothers. I think he's just talking about the breakdown of the family. I think my part of the video where I showed him saying what he said, I think it's a little bit longer of a segment compared to the reel that's going around, where, if I'm not mistaken, it's a black woman in front of the reel saying, how are black women, or, you know, how are black single mothers getting blamed? And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where everybody is going off of. Where in the video that I shared of Jason Whitlock speaking on Fox News, I think that's more of a wholesome segment. Therefore, you could take whatever you take on your own. And like I said, you know, surprisingly, although I said what I said in my video unapologetically, I don't take back what I said, because this is really a thing that's going on, right? And like, you know, going back to the manosphere, just like I said in the video, the manosphere, or just in life, we always talk about that if a man leaves, a woman will follow, right? But if there's no male figure in a household, now we're bringing children into the factor, absolutely, right? So it's like, if there's no male factor, no male figure, the fact of the matter is, how are women and children going to lead without male leadership, right? And it's just so funny because, like I said, like, you know, you have all these black people following the manosphere, following all their rhetoric, following all the things that they're saying. And the manosphere, they like to talk badly about single mothers and everything like that. And it's just crazy. You know, I'll get a little deeper into my thoughts on the manosphere. I do have a little segment or a little video where I was briefly talking about what I feel about the manosphere. I said something about them last week, but I'll share that in another video or another segment or whatever. But yeah, again, I do not think Jason Whitlock is blaming single black mothers. I think he's just literally talking about the breakdown of the family. It is what it is. And absolutely, it doesn't even matter what Jason said or what he didn't say. In order for a mother to be a single mother, that means the father has to leave. If we're talking about in a particular household with children, you cannot be a single mother with a father in the household. But if the father leaves, or he breaks up with her, or he leaves you, or just the fact that he's not there in his child's life, that is not the mother's fault. It is not black women's fault. It's the man's fault. The man who's supposed to be the leader, right? So, like, everything that I said in my video last week, I was right. I'm not trying to, like, be a know-it-all, but I was right. But at the same exact time, I could sit there, even though I said what I said in that last video, it's very easy for me to just jump on board and just be like, oh yeah, Jason Whitlock said that it's our fault as single black mothers. No, I'm not going to do that, because he's not blaming us. He's not blaming us. He's simply pointing out what the fact of the matter is. And hypothetically speaking, let's just say if a black woman wants to go head on and debate with Jason Whitlock, they're both going to end up, that argument is going to end with both of them saying the same thing. Like, the black mother is going to more than likely, 9 out of 10 times, she's going to end up saying something like, you're blaming me for being a single black mother, but I'm a single black mother because the black man left the household. And I can't control a man. If I'm a single black mother and I'm raising a man, I can't control him. I can't, conduct everything that he's doing in his life. And that's going to go right back to what Jason Whitlock said. What these men did. Now, I don't know. Me, Lydia, I do not know if these 5 black police officers were raised in a single parent household. I'm not sure. But he's saying the same thing that any mother acknowledges, that as a woman, you cannot raise a boy. You can't raise a man. You just can't without a father figure. And even sometimes when the father is in the home, sometimes things still go wrong. Don't get me wrong. And then not only that, as parents, we're facing how we have to take care of our children, but then we also have to face culture, toxic culture, especially living here in America. We're facing the Western culture, so to speak, right? So bottom line is, if a woman was to go head on with Jason Whitlock and have that discussion, right? Both she and him are going to end up saying the same thing, because he's pointing out the fact for what it is. He's not blaming single black mothers. But that's just my opinion, whatever. I don't know if he made a follow-up video in that regard. I'm going to go check out and see that for myself. But yes, I don't think he's blaming single black mothers. I think he's just speaking factually about what it really is. That's it. I'll also add my 2 cents by saying this. Even if it is a black woman who is the head chief of the Memphis Police Department, you still can't blame her for what those 5 black men did. What they did was horrible, disgusting, and they deserve to be punished for that, like, in the ultimate sense of it all right? You can't even blame her for I don't know how it is in Memphis. I've never been there before, so I can't speak on that. I don't know what the overall dynamic is. But again, even if the lady's a head chief of the police department, you can't blame her for what those 5 black men did. That's also another fact within itself. I'll just end this off right here. That's it.